Alright, so far we've pretty much been working on orthogonal objects, right? It's not in the 101 class, pretty much everything has been orthogonal except maybe the sun rays and things. That can help because the way the sun works, okay? But in our case, we've been drawing all these orthogonal objects. Not necessarily going to be the case as we go along. So go ahead and find an empty space. You can zoom into anywhere and draw a line. Line, L, there it is. Notice that right now I have my OSNAP on in the application status. If I want the OSNAP off, grid, snap, grid off, I could go anywhere right here, and that's fine. Right now it is going to set to a ortho mode. It's telling me when it's 90 degrees. If I don't want that, I take the ortho, oh, I'm sorry. If I don't want to draw in a ortho mode, I have this tab off. So ortho, if I have that on, it's always going to draw in the 90 degrees. Okay, right now I'm going to take it and draw it in that view and say enter. Okay, now if I want to rotate this guy from the base point of that, you could type in the dimension. Right now dimension is 45 degrees, or I could type in 30 degrees, enter, and it's going to turn 30 degrees. Try that again. From there I'm going to type in 15 degrees. Notice that it's going in the counterclockwise direction. If I want to go into the clockwise direction, all I have to do is put the negative sign on, negative 15 degrees, and it's going to go the other direction. Okay, so AutoCAD, just like in your regular mathematics, it's going to go counterclockwise as a positive direction. Okay, so once we have that established, we should be able to do other things with it. And this is all going to come together in the very end. Okay, so if I draw a line, let's just say from anywhere, take the ortho mode off. Ortho mode, notice that little tab, it says F8. If you hit the F8, that'll F8 on your keyboard, that'll either toggle on or off your ortho mode. Just as it says F9 would, so that you turn on or off your snap mode. Okay, the snap mode we haven't really used yet, but we will at this point. The snap is basically your endpoint, midpoint, intersection, and such. Okay, and for that it is in this thing, snap cursor. If you open that up, notice that we have endpoint, midpoint, center. Again, try to limit yourself in selecting any of these stuff. The only thing we really often use is intersection, maybe center. Endpoint we usually use, midpoint sometimes we use, nodal point we hardly use, quadrant point we hardly use. Perpendiculars we may use or what? And so be judicious about this. Anytime we want to select something, whoops, let me try this. Anytime something is not selected, so if I draw a line from here and I want to go perpendicular from here, since I have my OSNAP on, object snap on, my cursor is going to snap into the closest OSNAP setting. I have an intersection set, I have an endpoint set, right? But I want to go 90 degrees to this. I could go ahead and select the perpendicular, or if I just type in perp, P-E-R-P, it's going to give me that little cursor symbol, right? And if I go somewhere near, even though I'm over here, it's going to hit that perpendicular point. So any of these OSNAP setting, you should probably keep many of them off, but only when you need it, like the midpoint. If I say line from here, I want a midpoint of that, I'm going to type in mid, and it's going to find it for me, and that's that, right? So, but if I have all of these on, if I have everything on, especially nearest is a devil's stool. Okay, so if I do that, draw a line, it's basically going to select everything for me, and that's totally useless, right? So I think that's what we're trying to convey when we're using Rhino, that we try to keep as many of our OSNAPs off, and only when you need it, you could turn it on or just type in the exact OSNAP setting that we need. Okay, so like I said, midpoint probably not necessary, geometric center not necessary, nodal point not necessary, quadrant not necessary, extension not necessary, insertion not necessary, perpendicular maybe but not necessary. We don't need any of this stuff. Maybe the only thing is endpoint and intersection is the most important for now. Okay, as long as we're set with that, we should be fine. Okay, so if I want to move, and I know I set the endpoint, so it's going to select from endpoint to endpoint. If I type in fillet, it's going to be radius of 0. So if I did not have my command line window showing about 4 lines, I would have missed this radius, right? It says right here 0 foot 0 inches. But if I did not have this thing on here, if it was like this, I would have missed that completely. So again, do whatever helps you with your drafting. Set that. Okay. And we could do, let's say, offset. Offset, just like the offset surfaces, offset in 2D is, offset in 2D. I could select the distance, 3 inches, select that, whichever side, and it is there. So basically, with drafting, use the drafting tool that's necessary to create the objects.